Today I want to talk to you about why I personally use 3 different brokers. A lot of people ask me, Kai, why you use so many? Wouldn't one just be enough? And that's a question I regularly get, so that's why I want to talk about this in this video and maybe make you think to consider a similar approach. Maybe not 3, maybe have a second one as a backup broker. I don't do that just because I'm bored, but I do have reasons for that. Now, first of all, of course, the simplest is diversification. Never put all your eggs into one basket, or in this case, all your stocks or ETFs into one broker, because we never know what may happen, right? Things happen all the time. We've even seen banks, going out of business. And yes, obviously the brokers I do use and many others, they have protection measures in place like asset protection, segregation of funds. So even if they go bust, your funds can be transferred to another broker. So they're much safer in that way than a crypto exchange. But at the same time, still, even if there was to happen, sometimes those processes can take, weeks, months, while your money is locked up and frozen and you can't really trade anywhere else. So that's why I like the peace of mind to have 2-3 different brokers. Now, another point, and for me even more important, is that sadly, there's not one best broker that does everything I want from a broker. So maybe even this video will serve as inspiration for other stockbrokers to maybe add all those features into one single app, interface, experience, which I think would be really great. But until then, I'll definitely have to continue using different brokers because all of them do offer me different benefits. And for me, those benefits are really worth using those different brokers. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So starting off with interactive brokers, where I currently have the biggest part of my portfolio. That was also one of the first major stockbrokers that I started with. And I've been loving them ever since. I can really blindly recommend them. And that's one of the biggest things I do like about them is their solid track record, right? They're one of the longest serving brokers out there. Definitely one of the biggest one of assets under management. So you really know what you're getting with them. They've been around. They know what they're doing. I feel really, really safe with them. They're stock listed in the US. So, it's a stockbroker that you can really, really trust. And yeah, that's why I have obviously such a big part of my portfolio in here. Still, I like to diversify for the reasons I mentioned previously, but you can really feel good about your portfolio sitting over here. And of course, growing in value over time, as you can see with my one holding that I have, up almost $4,000. So yeah, really happy with the overall experience that I have with interactive brokers. Also, one of the strongest benefits that I really see in interactive brokers is the flexibility that it gives me. I can obviously transfer other stocks and ETFs into interactive brokers. A lot of brokers do offer that, but I can also transfer it out of it, which not all of them unfortunately do. And that really gives you peace of mind. So even if you one day have a big portfolio and you want to, for whatever reason, move it elsewhere, you can very easily do that. You just select the region where it is, and then interactive brokers will help you facilitate the transfer. It actually happened to me when I moved from Europe to the UAE. I did an internal transfer, which also a lot of stockbrokers unfortunately can't do. And here I just told them, well, I'm moving, here's my new address, and they moved my portfolio to that new entity in the new country. And that's very important. I didn't have to sell my stocks or ETFs to pay taxes on that, whatever. It was just done very smoothly internally. And these are the small things that I really value and appreciate with interactive brokers. And obviously they've been around for so long, so you really know your funds are safe with them. But of course, as I said, there isn't a perfect broker out there right now. Overall, the interface, while it has gotten better over the years, I find it still a bit clunky to use. And especially for beginners, it's really a little bit overwhelming and not very intuitive. They have an app called Global Trader, which does make it a bit more simplified. But for example, they also have 3 different apps, right? So a lot of people struggle which one to use and go with. The insights are great, but again, for a beginner, a little bit overwhelming. So yeah, as I said, they have improved over the years, but it's certainly not the prettiest stockbroker to use. But once you got the hang of it, it is powerful. But again, it's probably not as sleek as some of the other brokers. And one of them is, for example, Trading 212. Now, I'll show you the desktop interface. They also have a very nice, sleek app that you can use on the phone, on the go. And why I like it is, of course, because visually it's much nicer. It's less options, but I'm a buy and hold investor long term. And for me, I don't need all these fancy schmancy research tools and so forth. For that, I have even other tools like Seeking Alpha and so forth. But yeah, I just want to, buy the stock or ETF that I want, set it and forget it and be done with it. And here, that I really appreciate with Trading 212. You can see my positions over here. And best of all, I can buy without paying commissions, right? That's actually something I forgot to mention with interactive brokers. I have to pay commissions on every stock buy or ETF buy that I do. If you do have a small portfolio size and buy, let's say shares ETF worth $100, then paying a $1 commission is actually quite painful. If you invest, $5,000 or $10,000 euros a month, then paying, 4 or 5 euros is really negligible, right? So it really depends on your portfolio size. But if you're starting off, in the beginning and so forth, I think trading 212 might actually be a better option because it's easier to use and you don't pay any commissions on stocks and ETFs, which is really awesome. And best of all, you can also earn interest on your cash. So while your cash sits in here waiting to be invested, you can actually earn interest on it. You can see right now on the dollars, 4.1%, euros 2.2%, pounds 4.35%. Now, obviously, that's flexible, right? Depends on central banks, the interest rates that they're setting. It moves up, moves down. Recent times more down, but still nice to have that option. And you can even use those funds that are sitting here with your Trading 212 card to spend it and use it, right? Which is awesome. And the card is actually really, really nice. I made a video about this, covering it. So it's probably one of the nicer cards. And once again, something that Interactive Brokers does not offer, to have a card. And the interest that they pay is only from, I think, over 10,000 euros. So really not that attractive. So in that way, Trading 212 is way nicer. But at the same time, when I tried to move my portfolio from one country to another, they didn't actually allow me to. So I had to sell it and reopen another one. So that's also something to keep in mind, right? So if you have a huge portfolio size, then maybe it's worthwhile to diversify, have a second broker, even though you still love your Trading 212 holding, have it somewhere else on another broker that you can then move around if you wanted to. But the good thing is they recently added a feature that you can now do a portfolio transfer to another broker, even though the list is still limited. For example, you can't send it to Interactive Brokers directly, but you do have that feature available if you wanted to send it to another broker, and from there, maybe they work with Interactive Brokers. So there are ways around, but it's not as seamless, for example, as it is with Interactive Brokers. And if you want to check out Trading 212 for yourself, then use my link down in the description below. Or if you already have an account, use the code KAI inside the app, and you'll be getting a free share valued up to 100 euros or pounds. So definitely check it out. Next up, we move to Etoro, which is currently my second biggest holding. As you can see over here, my portfolio that I have, if I go into it, you can see I have 3 positions. And honestly, I also really like the interface. The interface is very simple to use. You can see here my cash available, total invested, and the profit and loss that I have. Very straightforward, not overly complex. And for me, what I really like about it, I can actually deposit funds instantly. I just go over here, deposit funds with my USD. I change it to USD because I have a USD credit card. Put my card details over here, and it will be instantly in my account without any fee. So that's one of the huge features that I like because, for example, with Interactive Brokers, sending money and depositing it can also be a bit cumbersome, to be honest. Here, it's much easier if you use US dollars. If you don't use dollars, then you're going to have some exchange fee, to keep that in mind as well. So that I wouldn't really recommend too much, but if you use USD to invest, then it can be really, really great platform. Also, you can trade crypto through that, which not all the other brokers do allow you. But keep in mind, crypto is very expensive buying it through Etoro, which personally I would not be recommending, and I'm not doing actually. And one thing I really love about Etoro is the Etoro Club. You can see right now I'm on the platinum tier level, and your membership basically automatically increases the more funds you deposit into the platform over time, which is really something so nice. It really values loyal long-term investors, which I absolutely love. And you can see all the benefits I'm getting, things like a dedicated account manager, interest on balance, Delta Pro Tracker, which is my investment portfolio tracker that combines all my various brokers into one. Absolutely love it, free of charge. Even Wall Street Journal, which is something I'm reading on a daily basis, I get it free of charge just by being a club member over here and having funds in the portfolio. Now, if I hit 50,000 very soon, I'll be getting handpicked sporting event tickets for me, which is really cool, and invitations to top tier industry events. So I'm really excited to hopefully surpass that number very soon. But at the same time, unfortunately with Etoro right now, you cannot move your portfolio to another broker. They don't allow you portfolio transfer at this stage. So hopefully they'll be added in the near future, which once again, makes me hesitant to go all in into one platform because I'll be kind of stuck with them, right? So that's why I still like to diversify. So once again, it just shows you there's not one perfect broker. And while the ETFs are commission free on stocks, keep in mind that you might pay a small commission depending on where you live. They have different pricing for that. Could be $1 or $2, but on ETFs, I don't pay any commission, which is really awesome. And that brings me to the fourth and final broker that I actually used to use much more when I was living in Europe. Unfortunately, right now they're not operating outside EU and UK. So since I'm based mostly in the UAE, I can't be using them that much anymore, but definitely the award of sleekest, most beautiful interface broker goes to Lightyear, which is really an amazing broker that I can really recommend as well. And it's like small things, right? You can see that the stock price is going down. So you can see this little red over here. If I change the time period, you can see now obviously it's in the green and it turns to green. So it's those small little details. I can press on this here, slide it over here to see the percentage change over that time period. So really, really love that. You can see here my buys and sells over time. It's just, definitely one of the nicest and beautiful, experience on both the desktop and the app. They're both very, very much seamless, and you have just enough to make an informed decision without being overwhelming. Because I said, interactive brokers can be overwhelming. They give you so much information, while some other ones, even like Trade Republic, for me are way too simple and you can't really make an informed decision just based off the insights you get over here. So here you really have a very nice balance of how much you should be knowing about that. And the cool thing is you buy also your ETFs here commission free. On stocks there is a small commission, but unfortunately at this stage you can also not transfer your portfolio to another stockbroker, at least not natively through the app. So hopefully they'll be added in the near future. And also the selection, while it's growing and really big, couple of thousand different instruments, it's still not covering everything. For example, my SPY5, they don't feature right now, so I could not actually buy it through Lightyear. They have many great alternatives from BlackRock and other ETF providers, but the one I'm buying right now is not listed over here. But then again, all other big US stocks and from many other marketplaces are definitely available on Lightyear. So there you go. Now hopefully you understand why I use different brokers, because they offer me different benefits, right? And some have really strengths in certain areas while having some limitation in others. And I don't want to go all into one single broker because first of all, as I said, I want to diversify my funds. And second of all, I want to maximize the benefits that I do get from the different brokers. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you do have any questions about any of it, pop them down in the comments down below. Happy to hear from you. Next up, check out this video over here. As always, thanks for watching. Stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.